Hey Commanders fans! Before we dive into today's breaking story, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you bleed burgundy and gold, and hit the bell so you never miss out on anything coming out of Ashburn. Now let's get into it, because this might be the move that puts the Commanders over the top. Yes, we're talking about four-time Pro Bowl linebacker Matt Judon being linked to Washington in free agency. That's right. According to NFL.com's Jeffrey Chadiha, the Commanders might not be done building this defense, and Judon could be the final splash before Week 1. Let's break it all down. Look, we've talked all offseason about how Adam Peters has been aggressive, and we've praised how he's rebuilt this Commanders roster from the inside out. But one area still stands out as a question mark heading into training camp. Who's going to consistently get after the quarterback? Last year's sack leader, Dante Fowler Jr., is back in Dallas. And despite a deep defensive draft class, Peters didn't select a single edge rusher in April. Now, some fans are excited about the development of young guys like KJ Henry and Andre Jones Jr., and there's optimism that Dorance Armstrong Jr. will thrive under Dan Quinn again. But in a deep NFC playoff picture, Washington may need another proven vet to push this pass rush over the top. That's where Matt Judon comes in. Let's rewind a bit for anyone who needs the full picture. Judon made his name with the Baltimore Ravens, then became a star in New England, racking up 28 sacks over his first 2 years with the Patriots. He was relentless, versatile, and disruptive. Everything you want in a modern edge defender. Last year, he signed with the Atlanta Falcons, but injuries and scheme fit limited him to just 5.5 sacks. Now 32 years old, and turning 33 this August, Judon is looking for one more shot to compete at the highest level. And guess what? The Commanders just might be that perfect destination. This potential move checks a lot of boxes. First, Judon is exactly the type of high-character veteran Peters has. Targeted in free agency. Think Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, even Tyron Smith before he chose to retire. These are guys who bring more than just numbers. They bring leadership, experience, and playoff urgency. Second, Judon has familiarity with Dan Quinn's style of defense. While he hasn't played under Quinn directly, he thrives in hybrid fronts and could be a chess piece that rotates between standing up on the edge and rushing with his hand in the dirt. Think of how Quinn used Micah Parsons in Dallas, or how he moved guys like Bruce Irvin around in Seattle. Third, this is a locker room that's ready to win now. Jayden Daniels is buzzing with confidence. Deebo Samuel just joined the squad. And guys like Jonathan Allen and Jamin Davis want to see this defense go from solid to elite. Bringing in Judon might be the last spark needed to light that fire. Let's go straight to the source. Jeffrey Chadiha wrote, Washington General. Manager Adam Peters has been aggressive in each of the past 2 seasons when it comes to free agency. The one thing he still needs to find for this team is more help in pressuring opposing passers. That leaves Judon as an intriguing option. For a team that wants to make another power move in the NFC after reaching last year's championship game. Did you catch that? Chadiha's not just suggesting Judon as a filler, he's calling it a power move. Sure, Judon has his flaws. He's aging, coming off a quieter year. But remember, the Commanders have gotten real value from older players lately. Wagner was 34 and still played at a high level. Ertz made crucial catches down the stretch. There's a clear pattern here. And Judon fits it. If Washington signs Judon, we're looking at a front 7 that includes Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne in the middle, Dorance Armstrong Jr., and Matt Judon off the edge, Bobby Wagner and Jamin Safiri. Davis at linebacker, and Jeremy Chin, and Percy Butler flying downhill from the safety spots. That's a front loaded with experience, versatility, and football IQ. Not to mention, it takes pressure off younger guys to step up too soon. Instead of being forced into big-time roles, the KJ Henrys and Javonte Jean-Baptistes of the world can develop at their own pace. It also gives Dan Quinn more flexibility on third downs, allowing him to cook up some creative blitz packages and simulated pressures, something he's known for. Don't overlook this either. Judon is a DMV native. He grew up in Maryland, starred at Grand Valley State, and has always shown love for the Baltimore area. Coming home to finish his career in front of friends and family, that matters. And it could make this deal easier to close if Peters wants to pull the trigger. There's a sentimental factor that can't be ignored. He wouldn't just be playing for another team. He'd be representing the region he came from. Fans would rally around that in a big way. So here's where we're at. The Commanders have cap space, a clear need, and a veteran pass rusher on the market who checks a lot of their boxes. Adam Peters has shown that he's not afraid to make bold moves late in the offseason. Just look at how he brought in Tyron Smith, Ertz, and even Josh Johnson to solidify key depth. If Peters sees Judon as someone who can help close out games and raise the defensive ceiling, he's not going to hesitate. We may see this heating up as mandatory minicamp approaches. And if Judon wants to win now, and win at home, Washington might just be the best fit left on the table. The Washington Commanders are coming off a season where expectations were shattered in the best possible way. With rookie QB Jaden Daniels injecting life into the franchise, and Dan Quinn bringing a new energy to the locker room, the Commanders didn't just compete. They climbed all the way to the NFC Championship game. But 2025 is a new year. The bar is higher. The goals are clearer. And while the spotlight shines on names like Daniels, Deebo Samuel, and Laramie Tunsil, there's a sleeper brewing in the background. A fourth-round rookie who could be the unexpected X factor for Cliff Kingsbury's offense. We're talking about Jalen Lane. That's right, the Virginia Tech speedster who tore up the NFL Combine and caught the eyes of scouts across the league. According to insiders around the Commanders' front office, Lane wasn't just a nice pick in the 4th round. He was the guy they had circled from the jump. Jalen Lane isn't your typical 4th-round flyer. He's a compact, explosive, 5'10", 191-pound weapon who does everything on the field. Catch, run, return kicks, and even pass if needed. In 2024, he scored touchdowns in every way imaginable. He's electric. He's shifty. And according to ESPN's Steve Munch, Lane finished in the top 3 for receivers at the Combine in nearly every measurable drill. A blazing 4.34 40, a 40-inch vertical, and an 11-foot broad jump. Let that sink in. That kind of athleticism doesn't just give you special teams value. It demands offensive reps. Lane's tape shows a player with elite burst after the catch, the ability to break tackles, and route running potential that can only improve with NFL coaching. In a Cliff Kingsbury system that thrives on space, timing, and mismatches, Lane might just be the perfect hidden weapon. Cliff Kingsbury loves players who can turn a 5-yard slant into a 50-yard explosion. That's exactly what Jalen Lane offers. His build-up speed, combined with quick twitch movement and strong field awareness, makes him ideal for screen passes, jet sweeps, option plays, and even designed deep shots from the slot. Think about how Kingsbury used guys like Rondale Moore in Arizona, but now imagine a faster, more polished version. Lane complements this offense in multiple ways. Insurance for Deebo Samuel. Deebo brings toughness and versatility, but he's also missed games due to injury. Lane can step in as a poor man's Deebo when needed. A step up from Zacchaeus / Brown. Both contributed in spurts last year, but Lane has better testing numbers and more potential to grow. Game changer on special teams. He'll likely start out as a punty kick returner, but that gives him weekly chances to flip field position, or even steal a touchdown. Assistant GM Lance Newmark was gushing about him after the pick, saying he was the highest player on our board at that point. It was a stressful wait, just hoping he'd fall to us. That's not something you usually hear about a 4th-round pick. That's the talk of a team that has a vision for a guy. Now, let's be real. Lane's not a finished product. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein pointed out some route running issues. He tips off defenders with inconsistent breaks, and he doesn't have the strength to win contested catches consistently. But those flaws? They're coachable, especially in a system where he'll often be schemed into space. Kingsbury isn't going to ask Lane to be a traditional X receiver lining up outside against top corners. Lane's role will be dynamic, flexible, designed to take advantage of his strengths and minimize his weaknesses. He'll work in motion. He'll be used in bunch formations. He'll run jet actions and bubble screens. And most importantly, he won't be forced to do too much too soon. This is a guy who, with just a few touches a game, can change the energy of a drive. Here's where it gets exciting. Jalen Lane wasn't just a sleeper on the Commanders. Board, analysts like Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network gave him a Day 2 grade before Virginia Tech's offense sputtered in 2024. In other words, the talent was always there. He was just in the wrong system. Now he's in the right one. Fowler put it best. Versatile playmaker that wasn't done any favors with the offensive architecture of Virginia Tech this fall. Cliff Kingsbury will allow him to be an athlete and expand the playbook. That's the dream scenario, right? A player with Day 2 talent, elite combined numbers, and a chip on his shoulder, walking into an offense that wants to use his skill set. You can't script a better opportunity, and let's not forget, Lane is hungry. When they called, I was ecstatic, he said. I'm ready to get to work. This is a player who knows he was overlooked. He's not coming to just return punts. He's coming to earn targets, carve out a role, and become a name Commanders fans chant at FedEx Field by mid-season. All right, Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. Would you sign Matt Judon? Do you think he's got one more impact season left in him? Or would you rather give the young guys more reps and build for the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Commanders HQ, and share this with a fellow fan who's fired up for the 2025 season. Training camp's coming. Let's get after it. Hail to the Commanders!